And it's my pleasure to be here to present to you guys tonight. So a lot of what I've been doing the last several weeks is just kind of listening, trying to find out kind of where the school is, where it's been, hearing from different students like Madison who have a lot of opinions, parents that have come to me with different ideas and thoughts about things, and the teachers, trying to figure out exactly what we're all about. So I understand that for myself, because I think the first step towards really having a vision is understanding where you are. And so I'm going to present a very, very tentative sort of vision ideas tonight. But one of the things that I really value is I really do believe that leadership and decision making is a thing that's best shared. And so as much as possible, I would love for this body to help to kind of educate me on your opinions about what the school needs, so that I can help bring it into my vision as it becomes a little more set in stone. Okay, so first of all, I just want to kind of run through kind of a typical day in the life of what it is. And here's the mission statement that was in the WASC accreditation last year, that basically talks about, it's let me be perfectly frank, not really a mission statement. It really just kind of talks about the history a little bit, and says that we're looking at future trends. We're putting kids, or helping kids to become successful beyond college. So we're really looking at skills, that development that are going to build for success later in life, vocational situations, academic situations, critical thinking. Those are the kinds of things that the school is sort of built around. The biggest thing that I found that everyone really believes in around here is collaboration, and I think that's awesome. And that's really fits my own personal philosophy very well. For those of you that don't know, the school received a 6-year WASC accreditation last year, and that's pretty impressive. Only about 5% of schools in California get a 6-year clear, and Bonsall High School did. So that was a lot of people did a lot of great work on that visit and on that particular document. So when the school opened, the student population was 67 in 2014-15. Every year it's grown pretty steadily, and this year we're looking at about 390. In fact, I think we went over that number today. I think we got to like 392. We got 2 new students in today. But our projection out to 2021, 2022 is right at 800. We had our first graduating class last year in 2018, with 86% of them getting accepted to colleges. So that's pretty impressive. Just a nice little trend chart, I thought. So I kind of want to talk about what a typical year looks like, just because I think that we do things a little differently around here, and I think things have changed since certainly I was in high school a little bit. So a typical 9th grader, this is some typical classes that they would take. English 9, obviously, integrated math 1. I can kind of explain what the integrated math sequence looks like a little bit if you guys would like. Geography, physics, Spanish 1, and then PE. And then we're also adding this year an advisory class. I know there's been an advisory kind of through without the school history, but I think ours is a little bit different that we're doing this year, in that it's very focused by grade. So we're really looking in 9th grade, the focus is becoming a good high school student. So teaching kids how to do study skills, note taking, kind of giving them some college and career readiness skills. So some of those maturity issues that 9th graders really need to work on, that piece we all say, okay, when they come in as 9th graders, oh my goodness, but by the time they're 10th graders, they're awesome. Something happens during that year, and we're just trying to get them there quicker, so that they don't have that kind of middle school to 9th grade slump that typically happens, or might happen sometimes. In 10th grade, English 10, World History, Integrated Math 2, Biology, Spanish 2, PE again. The state requires 2 years of PE in high school, and one of the things that they require is that everybody passes a physical fitness class in 9th grade. If they don't, they have to continue PE until they pass. So for some kids, that's been a problem in the past. If they do pass, they still need a 2nd year, but they could actually take PE through like a sports program and get PE that way. They could also do an independent PE program, depending on how things are set up. So there's a little bit of flexibility here. And then 10th grade advisory is more focused on college career readiness. internship, because that's one of our graduation requirements, planning for their senior project, and really beginning their community service work. So making sure that the kids have a good plan and how to get some of those graduation requirements that aren't tied to a class started, so that we don't have any surprises second semester of their senior year. Hopefully they've taken it a couple times during that time and the grades just keep going up, so they're able to take their best. So that's kind of a typical 12th grade. And obviously another thing we would suggest there is another math course, another science course. And this year we weren't able to do it. We were able to offer stats, but next year we'll be offering probably a pure calculus course on the high school campus as well. If kids wanting to go to a UC and they want to major in any of the sciences or the maths, a calculus is going to look pretty good. And so right now we sort of have that space holder of the Palomar class, but these Palomar classes we're offering right now are not quite to that level. I mean, we're really looking at 110 is really the freshman level math. So that's kind of a good start. But we are hoping to develop more of those as we go. And we have all kinds of electives. Look, there they are. Options for kids. One of my favorite new ones this year, Foundations of Law. It's really a critical thinking course. It helps kids to kind of understand the law enforcement profession, but that's kind of really a mask for more of a debate, a speech course, a critical thinking course, a logic course, if you will. So all that's tied in there together. I already talked a little bit about the advanced chemistry topics, which is our honors course. And then of course some music courses, guitar, music production is great. I had an opportunity to be in class with those kids today, and that's a very interesting product. We have a couple of other great things. ASB, the student leadership that Madison was just here talking about. And then we're offering some CTE courses on our campus, materials and bonding, which essentially is a soldering course, teaches kids basically how to work on motherboards, that kind of stuff. 2D animation, product development, which uses a 3D printer, so the kids get to design their own products. They take it from their first ideas to design, to build, to how do you advertise this product, how do you get it marketed, and so it's kind of an all-encompassing course, and so it really kind of walks them through a developmental cycle of a product, and they'll even have an opportunity to try to sell some of these things online at the end. And then we have some Palomar courses. So these are the Palomar courses that we're offering this year. So Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, design for print, beginning algebra, intermediate algebra, college algebra, trig, hardware, and hardware fundamentals, which is basically the course where the kids are going to be building their own computers. So a lot of options right now, quite a bit of variety in what we're doing, but variety is the spice of life. So trying to figure out ways to reach the desires and the needs of all kids is really one of the things that we kind of looked at this year and that we're kind of building upon.
The other thing that's really cool, I'll just jump in here, is that the kids can also take Palomar college classes at Palomar North, which
Correct.
is right across the way, right across the 15 off of Horse Creek Road, the new area over there. My son took biology between 9th and 10th grade with 2 of his friends from here. So that's a possibility as well for those of you that aren't aware of that. So these classes are on
These classes
campus.
are physically on our campus.
Right.
And they're also the possibility, not only the physical college, but there's online Palomar classes as well. And so we have a few kids that are working with Ms. LeBlond on taking some online college classes as well. And we're a little bit limited on the Palomar classes, but what is available for us seems to be pretty standard, pretty good.
Could you also talk about like what you've seen, the difference that happens with kids when they go to college, when they're in high school? Because that's one of the things in our conversation that
Right.
really was inspiring to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I can. Hold on, let me get to that slide.
Okay, so it's coming. Okay, got it.
Well, first let me talk a little bit the athletics that we currently have. I mean, you guys know we are limited in our athletics right now, but the kids that take part in these programs would do well, and it is a great opportunity for them to compete. We do have a couple of league champions last year, cross country and that kind of stuff, and it's a great opportunity. And so, looking to develop this a little fuller, without taking away from the academics. So we want a nice balance, but we definitely need more. One of the things that and for the last really 15 years, what I've done in education is really bring college down to the high school level. So I was at an early college high school before this, and I can tell you about how that really matures the mind. One of the big things that I've noticed is just the way that kids self-identify. If you're a typical high school student, you're just like everyone else. Everybody goes to high school, everybody has these sort of situations, and it comes with all of that high school angst. Once they've started taking some college courses though, they begin to self-identify a little differently. They are a college student now. They begin to internalize that. That gives them confidence. That gives them sort of an internal glow that they've succeeded at this higher level. And they kind of can play with that a little bit, you know. I mean, kids that are in 9th and 10th grade that are being successful at college courses really can see that this is something that they can envision themselves doing. And so that transition from high school to college becomes a little bit easier because they've been successful on a college course or a college campus. They've had college courses, they've been successful. And so going on to the university is no longer this unforeseeable sort of thing. And with a lot of kids whose families maybe didn't have the opportunity to go to college, they might be the first one to ever really set foot on a college class. And that really helps kind of that whole family. One of the things that I've seen too is as these kids, you know, go on to university and they return with their stories. And that has a big impact on the rest of the community. More and more kids want to go on to the university. At the school I was at before, when we first started our early college program there, the college going rate in that community was right around 7%. And 10 years later, it got up to 89%. And it wasn't because we were taking all the kids to college, it was because the ideology of the place changed, because everybody knew somebody that had college experience. And so that's why we take kids to college, beyond just the benefit that it has to them. I mean, it looks great on the college application. You know, that's absolutely true, no matter what college course you're taking. It saves families money, you know, because we're taking care of the cost of this. So there's some benefit from there. Gives them a foot up, gives them a couple credits in before they themselves go into college. Those are all great benefits, but that emotional, that psychological benefit is probably even greater. So looking at kind of what we do now, like we talked about, like Todd talked about, students can take courses here. We talked about the ones that are here on the college campus or online. They are in dual credit, so it's not like if they're taking a college class, they have to also take a high school class in that same area. The courses that they're taking at the college also count towards something at the high school. Basically, the way it's laid out right now, a student could take 7 college credits in the fall and 7 college credits in the spring. You could then go on and take a college course at the summer and take 5 over the summer. And all of the courses that we have on our campus that we try to get the kids to take online, that we suggest that they take at Palomar campus, are part of IGETC. So those are the courses that are all transferable. So these kids complete these courses, and wherever they ultimately end up going in the state of California, those courses are going to be transferable. So they're not going to have to take that course again. So there's some benefits there. And then the Palomar Promise is available to our kids, which basically says that if they agree to go to Palomar, they have at least a C average in high school, their first year there is free. So it doesn't matter where they come in. So that's a nice little incentive for the kids to continue on to Palomar. And we're working on some other relationships with San Marcos, where they'll have a similar sort of, there'll be some guidelines obviously, but they'll be able to get accepted to San Marcos as well. Yes?
When you say they agreed to go there, does that mean they have to commit to going to Palomar for more than 1 year?
No, they only have to commit to that first year. But if that's what they want, then might as well not pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a nice way to save money from the family.
If there's time, I'd like to add just one quick thing. Yesterday, I was talking to 2 of Aiden's teachers. Aiden is my son. He's just starting 10th grade. And what they said, both of his teachers that taught history, or it's Geo-Lit is what it's called. Yeah, so that's Mr. Van Hoosier and Mrs. Calderon. And they said that who he was from the time he came into 9th grade to who he is. Like they said he's transformed. Like in his demeanor, his confidence, just the way he carries himself and his knowledge. And They just saw him for the first time because he came to visit them after he was in college this summer. And so he wasn't bragging, but he exactly what you're saying. Like, there was a big change in him.
Just that internal confidence, that
Yeah.
self-identification that I've been successful here, I can be successful anywhere. And I think that's a big part of it. That's a big part of why we do it. So all of our students that earn C or higher in classes, our graduation requirements are as much as we possibly can be tied to A through G requirements for the Cal State and UC. So we are not putting kids in these courses that they don't need. So the courses that we're putting the kids into at the high school and the courses that we're pushing them into at the college level is going to meet this requirement. So it's going to help them get accepted. And that's rare that schools are as focused on the A through G as we are. Statewide, about 60% of kids are A through G eligible at graduation. We're looking at pushing that number here pretty significantly. We want all of our kids to be A through G. Now what that means is kids have to earn at least C or better. That doesn't mean they necessarily be accepted, that just means they'll be eligible. So but that is our hope, that all of our graduation requirements will reflect that. And then, like we said, during our advisory, we're helping students with their college research, applying to college, ACT, SAT test prep, scholarships, financial aid, all of that stuff. And even as a senior, they'll be sitting down with the kids in advisory, the staff will, to help them complete their college application, help them read through their UC statements, help them do all that kind of work, so that when they do submit their application, it's that much more likely to be accepted, because it has been, edited multiple times, and they've been working on it for basically a whole year. So here's we're kind of moving more into not who we are currently, but where we're going. And so here are some future goals that we're going to be working on. And the staff has kind of talked to us about some of these things. So first of all, we need to work with the governing board in the district to refine our graduation requirements to better reflect the A through G requirements of the UCs, and to improve our educational outcomes for our students. So that's the first thing we want. We also want to provide additional remediation and credit recovery options. And we don't want the kids to necessarily be spending their school day when they should be getting focused on taking care of what they need to do today. We want to put that before school. We want to put that after school, so that kids can get that remediation and help that they need, so that they continue to be successful in high school, and put it in place before it's too late. And then for those kids that have already messed up in the past, have some options for them to recover. Go back and retake that integrated math course that maybe they didn't do so well on, so that when they get to graduation, they too will be A through G, right? So that's kind of the things that we're working on, and we'll probably roll out some plans for that in the next couple of weeks and months. And then working with the Paula Tribal Council to find ways to bring those kids in and find ways for them to create better pathways to success. So that's been sort of an issue that the district's been working on for some time, and really working with the Tribal Council, working with those folks over there to create things like mentorships with some of those kids to help them connect with school in more genuine ways is going to be pretty key to their success going forward. And then finally, moving to that permanent dedicated high school campus. This facility is great. I love my neighbors up at the middle school, but it would be that much more awesome if we had our own facilities. Those of you that were here for our water situation on Monday can attest that it's very, very difficult to share a campus, and it creates all kinds of problems. And so finding ways to make that a reality is pretty key.
And you can help with that. And at the end, I'll be talking about ways that you can help to support that process if you're so inclined. Yeah.
And so these are some of the things that sort of guide me. So just kind of philosophy statements, if you will. So I believe that all high school students, all Bonsall High School students, should graduate with choices about their future. And what that means is that not necessarily every kid is going to go to a UC or a Cal State, but that option should be on the table for the students to have, for the families to have, rather than that choice being made by the fact that we didn't offer them the right courses, or that we didn't support them in the credit recovery. We want that option to be on the table. if they ultimately choose to go on to go into the military or go into a vocational program, those should be choices on the table as well. Things that we've supported them in, options that we've helped them to pursue. So I believe that everyone should have choices. You know, it's not enough to get a kid graduated. It's better to get a kid graduated that now can go on to step 2 of their life, whatever that might be. So the second thing I believe is that students, their families, and the greater community should have a voice in how the school is run. So having these kinds of meetings, I've met with tons of parents come in and just sit down and meet with me and talk to me about what they would like to see happen to the school over the last couple of weeks. I think that's important. I think without that, the school doesn't necessarily reflect the community. And I want the community to be reflected in the school. After all, you know, the high school should really be kind of the white tower of the community, if you will. It should be the place where the community congregates. You know, it should be the place where we go to celebrate together. And the only way to do that is to really make sure that the community and the families feel welcome. I also believe that school should be rigorous, but it should also be fun. To put that differently, we work hard, but we also play hard. You know, that we want our kids to buckle down, we want them to get their work done, we want the level to be here, but we also understand that you can't always be here. There's got to be some stress relief, there's got to be some fun activities, there's got to be some things that they can do throughout the year to make it all meaningful, to make it all worthwhile. Connected to that, schools should provide opportunities for competition, camaraderie, and community building. Things like ASB, things like sports, things like academic decathlon, things like mock trial. These should be things that happen on our school campus and should just become a part of who we are. And we don't have all those things yet, but we're working towards them. I also think that the arts are an important and key component of any well-rounded student, and I think that we really need to develop that as well. College and CTE courses should be provided to all students at no cost to families. I think that as much as we can, we should provide these courses. We should help students to be better prepared for the world of work, the world beyond high school, as our mission statement stated there. And we've already begun the work on that. I think there's some things we can do to really bring more of those things to the school. And like I said before, leadership and decision making should be shared duties. You know, I can sit up here and be the boss, but that's not very meaningful. That's not going to help really benefit the students. That's not going to help us grow. When I'm up here and I'm listening to all the various opinions, when I'm bringing everything together, when we're all working together for the improvement of the community, that's when things become meaningful. It takes a village to raise a child. That's all I'm saying. And then here's some of my early sort of vision ideas. So like I said, and then I'll give you guys an opportunity to kind of give me some input and some advice, if you will, after this. So I would like to develop an early college high school program with Palomar. Palomar is very open to the idea. They want to reach out to the community. They want to be a bigger part of our schools. That would allow students to graduate with their IGETC, which essentially means their two years complete of college going into their junior year, or vocational certification, or just some college credits, just some things that they can take in and save money as they decide where they want to go. I think that we need to increase our dual enrollment courses. We need to be going for that golden 4. So we have a lot of college courses now, but we have the math component in place of that 4, but we need to be offering things more like some of the critical thinking classes, like a philosophy class, or a psych class, or even a critical or a creative writing class at the college level. We also need to be offering some English courses. We need to be really developing those courses that are going to basically help students get through their first year. And what really the golden 4 is basically the requirements that most colleges have for freshmen. So if we can take care of those, we've already given those kids a huge foot up. Yes?
I've never heard the term golden 4, so I heard you talk critical thinking, English, and math.
Critical thinking, English, and math, those are the first 3, and then the other one is oral communication. So it has to do with and there's a variety of courses that can meet those, But those are essentially the first classes the freshman year of college that you want to take. And usually it's just freshman English, freshman math, what have you. So that's something else. I think that as we develop, as we grow, building a comprehensive arts program is going to be pretty key. Arts gives students a place to belong. There's been all kinds of studies that show that kids that take part in the arts, they do better on comprehensive testing. They do better in school. They're more well-rounded. They're more balanced. They don't have as many health issues. Arts is apparently the golden elixir of education, if you will. And I think that, while we have a couple of arts courses here and there, we share those teachers with the middle school. And I think we really need to develop a program of our own at the high school. And as we move into our new campus, having a great state-of-the-art theater would be a great thing to be looking at. A place where the community can come, we can have dance recitals, we can have choir, we can have all kinds of things. I mean, this is a great opportunity for us.
I'm assuming that the arts program you're talking about the visual, because the performing we have.
We have.
But you're talking about more the visual arts.
But we share her with the middle school. So I'm saying bring it in, develop it,
Just for
make it bigger, make it more comprehensive. So yes, so theater, music, and visual arts.
Okay.
Yes. More opportunities for competition, both athletic and academic. Talked about things like mock trial. Kind of a mock trial junkie. I'll just say it. I don't know why. I love it. I love to watch it. But academic decathlon, more sports programs. As we develop, as we have better facilities, that will allow for more and better athletic programs. Again, I always think that our focus should be on academics, but we all know the benefits of being part of athletic teams, learning all those lessons that are taught there, and just the connection to the adults that come with competition. It just can't be replicated in the classroom. You learn, you know the kids at a very deeper level when you're part of those things. And then strengthen the culture of the school through building deeper connection with students, their families, and the greater community. So more opportunities to bring the community into the school, more opportunities to share what we're doing, more opportunities for you to give input, those kinds of things. So that's kind of those big issues. And as I said, I mean, I'm still in sort of listening and learning mode. So those are some things that I think are important that I've been able to identify for really the first month that I've been here. But now I'd like to hear from you. So what are your ideas? What are some things that I missed? And what's important to you as a community?